Hello friends, today we will learn about the cell. As this topic is only for the revision purpose, we will go through the slides and understand what do you mean by the term cell and what are its components. As cell is written, basic structural and the functional unit of life. There were many scientists that were observing and describing the unknown world with the help of the microscopes. There was a simple microscope, compound microscope, and there were many scientists like Anton van Leeuwenhoek and Robert Hooke. How the cell discovered? It was the Robert Hooke who observed in the year 1665 the thin slice of cork under a microscope. And he observed that this cork resembled the structure of honeycomb consisting many empty box-like cavities which were called as cells. The modern cell theory consists of the three statements about the cell. That is, cell is a fundamental unit of life and all living beings are made up of cell. All living beings arise and all the cells arise from the pre-existing cell. Now the question arises how we are going to define a cell. The cell is a fundamental structural and functional unit of living beings. It is the smallest part of the body of an organism which is capable of independent existence and of performing the essential functions of life. Some examples of the cells like bacteria, nerve cell, plant stem, red blood cells. They all are the examples and they all perform the function depending upon the structure they have. The type of the cells, they are categorized under prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Prokaryotic means pro, primitive, karyon means nucleus. Very old, very primitive nucleus that does not have the cell organelles to carry out the activities. They are single-celled organism. Eukaryotic means true nucleus. Eu means true and karyon means nucleus. They contain organelles surrounded by membranes. They are mostly living organisms. They are multicellular. Next comes structure of a cell. Cell is composed of various components, but the basic three components are the plasma membrane, nucleus and the cytoplasm. There are also cell organelles, they are the living parts and the unspecialized membrane bound structures which are present inside the eukaryotic cell and they perform a specific task. When I say cell organelle, means they are the organs of a cell. Like in a human body, we have different organs to carry out the activities like stomach, intestine, liver, kidney. The same way, cell also have the different cell organelles to carry out the activities. Let's understand the cell organelles in detail. First, before getting into the details of the organelles, we'll understand about the outermost covering of a cell that separates its contents from the external environment. And it is called as a cell membrane, which provides support and protection. It is a semipermeable membrane which is made up of fats and proteins. When we talk about the semipermeable, it means it allows only certain molecules to enter or exit the cell. Next comes cell wall. The cell wall is commonly found in the plant cell and in the bacteria as it supports and protects the cell. Next cell organelle is the cytoplasm. It is a jelly-like material that fills the cell, surrounded by cell membrane, contains water and food for the cell, contains the most important part, that is the hereditary material. Cell organelles which are embedded inside the cytoplasm, the first one is ER, that is Endoplasmic Reticulum. Now this endoplasmic reticulum acts as a supportive framework of the cell, and this particularly consists of ribosomes. When we talk about the ribosomes, the most important function of the ribosome is to create proteins. And in this endoplasmic reticulum, we have to understand about the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The organelle that is embedded inside the cytoplasm is the ribosomes. They are the small granules which are scattered freely in the cytoplasm, or they are attached to the membranes of the endoplasmic reticulum. As I said, smooth endoplasmic reticulum and the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum means no ribosomes present on the surface. Rough endoplasmic reticulum means the ribosomes are present on the surface. They are basically the sites of protein synthesis. Next cell organelle that is embedded inside the cytoplasm is the Golgi apparatus. Packages, stores and secretes enzymes for the cell. Also important for the formation of the acrosome of sperm. The next cell organelle is the mitochondria. It breaks down the food and releases energy to the cell. It basically breaks down the fat and the carbohydrates, and it releases the energy in the form of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, and hence are called as the powerhouse of the cell. Powerhouse means wherein the power is generated in the form of energy, which is a most frequently asked question for the board examination. Mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell. Explain. Dash is a powerhouse of the cell. Releases energy in the form of dash. The next cell organelle that is embedded inside the cytoplasm is a lysosome. It cleans up the cell waste products and it transports undigested material to cell membrane for removal. It basically digests all the foreign substances around them. Next is a centrosome and centrioles. Centrosome is an organelle containing two cylindrical structures called centrioles. They are found in the animal cell. Basically important for regulating the cell division, and they form the spindle fibers with the help of asters. The next cell organelle that is embedded inside the cytoplasm are the plastids. These plastids are majorly found in plant cell as they are pigment containing, helps in the storage, and there are three types of the plastid: chloroplast, leucoplast and chromoplast. Chloro means green. With the help of sunlight, they carry out the process of photosynthesis. That is, they produce and they store glucose. Chromoplast contain carotenoids. Chromo means color, red, orange and yellow pigments, which are basically found in flowers and fruit. Leucoplast, leuco means white, colorless, no pigment, which is basically used to store starch. So the plastids are of three types: chromoplast, chloroplast and leucoplast. Next cell organelle that is embedded inside the cytoplasm are the vacuoles. They are the large membranous storage sacs which are found in plants. They store water, nutrients, waste product and the pigments. They give turgidity to the plant cells by pressing against the cell wall. They give certain plants a bright colors. And the next important cell organelle is the nucleus, which we called it as the boss of the cell. It is the most important part as it regulates and coordinates various life processes of the cell. It plays an important part in cell division. It contains DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid, and directs the activity of the cell when it grows and when it divides. Let's understand the structure of the nucleus. The structure of the nucleus consists of the nuclear membrane, nucleolus and chromosome. Nuclear membrane, which surrounds the nucleus, made up of two layers, which helps allowing the material to enter and leave the nucleus. Nucleolus, which is present inside the nucleus and contains RNA to build up proteins. Chromosome in nucleus made up of the DNA, and the most important is to transfer chromosome. In nucleus, the chromosome is made up of DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid. They contain instructions to transfer the characters from one generation to the other generation. This is the structure of the nucleus, which is embedded inside the cell. As I said, nucleus is the boss of the cell and it has the most important function in division or in dividing the cells. Now let's understand about the difference in between the plant cell and the animal cell. When we talk about the differences in between the two, please do write about the characteristic features of it. Now what are the characteristic features? When I talk about the plant cell, the cell is generally larger. Animal cell is generally smaller. Plant cell have a definite cell wall which is made up of cellulose, and in animal cell the cell wall is absent. When we talk about the cell wall, you remember we have learned that cell wall is freely permeable membrane, but cell membrane is a semi-permeable membrane. Cell wall is present only in plant cell, but cell membrane is present in both plant as well as animal cell. Next, cytoplasm is not so dense. In animal cell, there is a dense cytoplasm which consists of more granules. Plant cell, the plastids are present. They are categorized under three: chromo, leuco and chloroplast, which gives a green color, which gives the colorful pigments and no pigments to the flowers and the fruits. Animal cell contains no plastids in the cell. Centrosome is absent in case of plant cell, and in case of animal cell, the centrosome is present. In plant cell, the vacuoles are large and they are prominent. As they are the autotrophs, they prepare their own food, so they save their food, helps in storage. And how they store? They store it in the form of starch. Animal, they are not autotrophs, they are heterotrophs. They are dependent upon other organisms for the survival. That's why the vacuoles are absent. But if they are present, they are very small and they are temporary. So this is just a summary, the differences in between the plant cell and the animal cell. Next, do learn the functions of the cell organelles which are present inside the cell, and remember the basic definition of the cell. Again, I will repeat, the basic definition of the cell is a basic structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Do not forget to write that depending upon the structure, the cell has a function to perform. Certain examples that I already illustrated about the RBC, the xylem vessels, they do have the function to perform depending upon the structure. Lastly, do know about the prokaryotic and the eukaryotic differences in the cell, consisting of very old, very primitive nucleus and a true nucleus. Next, what are the functions of the different cell organelles like the endoplasmic reticulum, nucleus, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, lysosomes. Please learn the functions of all these cell organelles. Last but not the least, what is the difference between the plant cell and the animal cell? Have a quick understanding and a revision of this chapter. Do write me in case of any doubts, in case of any queries. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.